You fools, Ifama thundered. You could not see this coming. You could not warn me. You let a foreign buffalo, only the God knows where she crawled out from, embarrass me in front of the entire kingdom. All you had to do was to tell me who was trying to outshine me.
Once upon a quiet morning, in the eastern parts of Nigeria, the kingdom of Iyoma woke up with its usual grace. The birds sang softly on the orange trees. Smoke rose lazily from the early morning fires. Children chased one another around the compound, their laughter drifting into the warm air. Everything about Iyoma felt peaceful, proud, and content, as though the land itself carried a gentle smile. But among all the blessings the kingdom cherished, there was one treasure everyone talked about: Chief Obika's daughter, Ifoma. Ah, Ifoma. Her name alone made people sit up and pay attention. She was the only child of Chief Obika, a wealthy man known across many villages. His farms were wide, as far as the eye could see. His barns were always full. His compound looked like a small palace. But above all his riches, it was Ifoma who gave him the greatest pride. From childhood, she had bloomed like a flower planted by heaven itself. As she grew, her beauty spread through the kingdom like a sweet fragrance. Her skin shone like the first light of morning. Her eyes sparkled like water when the sun touched it. Her long, dark hair rolled down her back in soft waves, and even when tied up, it still held a kind of magic that made mothers sigh and daughters stare in admiration. Whenever Ifoma walked through the village, people paused without knowing why. Her steps were soft and graceful, almost like the ground was afraid to make noise under her feet. Her wrappers always sat perfectly on her waist, colorful, bright, and neatly tied. Her beads clicked gently as she moved, adding a small music to her presence. Children would point at her and whisper excitedly. Young men swallowed hard and pretended not to stare. Oh, festival days were the sweetest days for the Iyoma kingdom, because they always belonged to their Ifoma. It was a time to showcase that their land truly had beauty. Long before the sun rose, women would gather to beautify her. They wrapped coral beads around her neck. They adorned her wrists and ankles. They brushed her hair until it looked as though the evening sun had rested in it. And when she finally stepped out to dance, the whole kingdom shouted with joy. Ifoma did not dance like other maidens. She danced as if her body was made of river water. Her waist moved with a calm that held power. Her feet tapped with confidence. Her arms flowed like gentle wind. Even the drummers beat their drums differently when she danced, as though her beauty controlled their hands. After the dance, the elders would place her on a tall carved chair, a royal chair that sat above the crowd. There she would sit, smiling softly, while the entire kingdom admired her. People called her the pride of Iyoma, the gift of the gods. Mothers whispered prayers for their daughters to grow beauties like her. Elders stretched their hands towards her and blessed her with long life. Chief Obika, her father, always stood proudly beside her, smiling as if the whole world belonged to him. He believed that the gods had favored him with the finest jewel, and the villagers believed that the beauty of Iyoma would never fade, because Ifoma carried it with every step she took. At first, Ifoma's beauty was a soft light that warmed the hearts of everyone in Iyoma. People admired her, praised her, and spoke her name with joy. Everywhere she went to or walked past, she held the attention of the crowd. And oh, she enjoyed all the attention she was getting as the most beautiful maiden in Iyoma. No one could drag that with her. But slowly, the same admiration and attention began to change her. It started little by little, like rainwater entering a cracked pot until the pot finally overflowed. Ifeoma would adorn herself in costly attires and beads, stand in front of the mirror and gaze at her reflection. And what she saw, truly it pleased her. It was not just mere talk that she was beautiful. Ifeoma was really beautiful, and she could see it. Her face was perfectly carved, and her body was well sculpted. There was no way anyone could match her beauty, she thought to herself. Soon, she began to feel like she was above every other maiden in the entire villages. The first incident took place one sunny afternoon. The maidens had gathered on the wide village path, carrying calabashes of palm fruits from the farm. They were laughing and gisting as they walked, dust rising behind their feet. When they saw Ifeoma approaching, their voices grew louder with excitement. Ifeoma is coming, one whispered. Move aside, let her pass, another said. They all shifted gently to the edge of the path, smiling, ready to greet her with warmth and respect, as they always did. After all, she was the beauty of their land, and they admired her so much for it. But on that particular day, what they met was shock. Ifeoma stopped walking. In fact, she stopped right in front of them, folded her arms, and gave them this cold, condescending look. So, you people cannot kneel properly to greet, she asked, raising one brow. Is that how you greet someone as special as me? The maidens looked at one another in confusion. Kneel kwa? For their age mates? As how? They had never been asked to kneel before, not even when they greeted the elders. They had only ever bowed their heads with respect, the same way everyone greeted one another in the village. One brave maiden stepped forward and said softly, Ifeoma, we're your age mates. How do you expect us to kneel to greet you? Ifeoma scoffed loudly. And why won't you all kneel? Am I in your class, or do I look as wretched as you guys? Do you not know who I am and what I represent in this kingdom? Check this beauty out, she said, twirling herself. I am Ifeoma, daughter of Chief Obika, the beauty goddess of Iyoma. When I walk past, you kneel, all of you. Else, she snapped her fingers sharply. Now, kneel. The maidens exchanged frightened glances. Then one by one, they dropped to their knees on the dusty path. Dust clung to their wrappers. The sun beat heavily on their backs. A few boys passing by paused and stared, shocked at the strange sight. Ifeoma did not seem to notice. She lifted her chin proudly, satisfied with the scene before her. Better, she said. I trust you all know what I can do. Next time, do not wait for me to speak before you kneel. She walked past them slowly, her waist beads clicking, her feet brushing softly against the earth. She turned her face away, acting as though the kneeling girls were nothing but stones scattered on the road. And from that day, the admiration they had for her began to turn to fear. But Ifeoma continued to grow wings. Everything about her changed. She no longer walked through the markets like a beloved daughter of the land. She walked like a queen whose people only existed to worship her. She expected greetings before she even spoke. She expected paths to clear before she arrived. She expected doors to open even when she was still far away. And if anyone failed, even by mistake, she would roll her eyes, hiss loudly, and insult the person as though they were the dust under her feet. Soon, the maidens began to avoid her. They hid behind stalls or bushes when they heard her voice. They dropped their heads quickly when she walked past. Nobody wanted trouble with Ifeoma, because trouble followed her like a shadow. It was around that time that she began to gather the girls who would later become her loyal followers. 4 strong maidens, each one eager to stand beside her, hoping that walking with the most beautiful woman in Iyoma would bring them importance too. Their names were Nnenna, Uzamaka, Ifunanya, and Chisom. They were literally her mates. They followed Ifeoma everywhere she went, carried her baskets, held her wrappers when the wind blew. They found her whenever she complained of heat, and they always did her bidding, hoping that some of her shine would fall on them. With strong 4 girls walking behind her like bodyguards, Ifeoma's arrogance grew even stronger. When she appeared on the path, people moved aside immediately. When she stepped into the market, traders paused their selling and bowed their heads quickly, ready to serve her. When she walked near the stream, younger girls hurried to clear stones from the ground so her feet would not touch them. Even children began to fear her because she no longer smiled at them. She only looked straight ahead, chin raised, like someone who had forgotten what kindness felt like. The more people bowed, the more her pride grew. The more she was praised, the more she believed she was above everyone. Before long, the entire kingdom began to feel the weight of Ifeoma's pride. The same girl who once brought joy to Iyoma now walked through the land like a storm that refused to be calm. People who once admired her beauty began to murmur when they heard her voice. Mothers called their daughters inside their huts whenever she approached. Children hid behind trees as she passed. Ifeoma was no longer the pride of Iyoma. She had become the terror of the land. If someone made the mistake of appearing on the same road with her, she stopped walking and placed both hands on her waist, staring at the person as though they were mud under her feet. "Are you blind?" she would ask sharply. "So, you did not see that I was coming. You cannot kneel and wait for me to pass." If the maiden hesitated for even one breath, Ifeoma snapped her fingers, and her 4 followers hurried forward like eager dogs waiting to please their mistress. "Deal with her," Ifeoma would say calmly. And that command alone was enough to scatter peace from the land. Her clique pounced immediately, dragging the girl to the side of the road, shouting at her, slapping or pushing her. All while Ifeoma watched with a satisfied smile, as though the humiliation of others sweetened her heart. And it didn't end there. At the river, her wickedness shone even brighter. When Ifeoma arrived at the stream, the maidens who were already there quietly picked their calabashes and moved far away. Some even pretended they had finished fetching water so they could escape her trouble. But Ifeoma always found someone to torment. "Bring your calabash," she would say, stretching her hand lazily. "You will fetch water for me today." If the girl obeyed, Ifeoma still scolded her for fetching too slow. Then if the girl tried to escape, her clique would block her path. If the girl refused altogether, Ifeoma's anger rose like fire. "Who gave you the audacity to refuse me?" she would ask. Her followers would step forward and everybody knew what came next. Parents whose children had been beaten up mercilessly because they failed to kneel or do Ifeoma's biddings had gone to her father, Chief Obika, to complain. But he always took sides with his daughter. Nothing his precious daughter ever did was wrong. And if you hesitated, he would unleash his guards on you. "It is you who should train your children properly," Chief Obika would always say. And no one could fight him. He was the wealthiest chief in the village. So, it even gave Ifeoma more wings to grow wilder. In the forest, whenever she went to gather firewood, she refused to touch anything heavy. "My hands are too soft," she always said. "A beauty queen like me cannot carry firewood like a common girl." She would point to a pile of wood and command one of her mates to carry it. If they were tired and slow, she insulted them loudly. If she met other maidens on the forest path, she stopped them and demanded they surrendered their firewood to her. Even if they had walked long distances to gather it, she did not care. "Drop it," she ordered. "I can't enter the forest to fetch firewood when I am the beauty of Ijeoma." The maidens obeyed her. Even when their backs ached from carrying the heavy loads, nobody wanted to be beaten. Nobody wanted to be embarrassed in the middle of the forest, while birds and trees watched helplessly. Day after day, Ifeoma's cruelty grew. Her voice became sharper, her heart became harder, her steps became heavier with pride, and she grew even more obsessed with her beauty. Every evening, as soon as she was done causing mischief in the kingdom, she would sit beneath her favorite Udala tree with her 4 followers surrounding her and ask the same questions she always asked. "Who do you think is competing with my beauty in this village?" Her followers would exchange frightened glances, then rush to mention any maiden they saw who looked even slightly beautiful. "Ah, Ifeoma. It should be Amarao," one would say. Ifeoma's face tightened. "You need to show me this girl. Who is she? Who dares to drag beauty with me?" Then she stood up with slow confidence, lifted her chin proudly, and marched towards the maiden's hut, while her clique trailed behind her like shadows, ready to pounce at her command. Every corner of Ijeoma now held whispers. "This girl will bring trouble to the kingdom. Beauty has entered her head. Her arrogance is getting too much." But Ifeoma never heard these whispers, or maybe she heard them and simply did not care. For her, the world existed to admire her, the people existed to obey her, and the kingdom existed to kneel whenever she walked past. After all, she was their beauty queen. Meanwhile, in the heart of Ijeoma Kingdom, beyond the noisy market and the busy palm oil stores, lived a quiet family whose huts looked older than the eldest tree in the land. Inside that humble hut lived a girl named Olido. Her name meant gold, and truly that was what she was. Not gold that glittered loudly, but the kind that shone quietly in the dark. Olido had nothing that would make a maiden stand out in the crowd. She owned only 2 simple wrappers that faded more with each passing year. Her slippers had worn out long ago, so she often walked barefoot. Her hair was rarely braided because her mother could not afford fancy styles. But even without fine clothes or shining beads, Olido carried a beauty that could not be hidden. It was a kind of beauty the gods give only once in a long while. Her eyes were soft and bright, her smile gentle and warm. Her skin glowed naturally, like a ripe mango under early morning sun. When she walked into the market, even the dust beneath her feet seemed to brighten up. The villagers admired her in silence at first, but as the days went by and she matured, the admiration grew louder. "That girl Olido is truly a beauty," women whispered at the well. "She does not even try much," young men said, shaking their heads. And Olido was such a sweetheart, gentle like soft rain. Her presence calmed everywhere she entered. She was really loved. One afternoon, Ifeoma gathered her loyal followers beneath her favorite Udara tree. The sun filtered through the leaves, casting patches of golden light around them. The girl stood behind her respectfully as she fanned herself with a large woven fan. She crossed her legs like a queen, preparing to pass judgment. "Well," she said, tapping her foot impatiently, "tell me, Who is trying to compete with my beauty today? Who dares to challenge me in this kingdom? The four girls looked at one another. Their faces showed fear. Nobody wants to be the one to deliver the dangerous news. Finally, Nnenna swallowed hard and stepped forward. There is something, Ifeoma, she said, her voice trembling. Ifeoma froze. Her fan stopped moving. Her eyes narrowed slowly, like a cat ready to pounce. Speak. I am listening. Nnenna clasped her hands nervously. It is Oledo. Oledo, Ifeoma repeated, frowning as though the name offended her ears. And who is Oledo? She is the daughter of the poor palm wine tapper who lives near the old shrine, Uzamaka quickly added, her voice tight with fear. People are saying she is very beautiful, more beautiful than many maidens. Ifunanya nodded. She does not dress fine or braid her hair, but her beauty, it shines like something born from the gods. The villagers also like her very much. They say her beauty is peaceful and humble. The Udara tree became silent. Even the wind refused to move. Ifunanya slowly stood up. Her wrapper swayed gently around her legs. Her face twisted into a shape the maidens had never seen before. What did you all just say to me? Are people saying she is more beautiful than me? She asked in a cold, dangerous voice. Nnenna trembled. Not that I heard, but people say she may become the next beauty queen of Iyoma. The moment those words left her mouth, Ifeoma snapped. Ah! She screamed so loudly that birds lifted off from the nearby branches. Never. That can never happen. Nobody will take my shine. Nobody in this kingdom will stand beside me. Her chest rose and fell quickly. Her eyes burned with jealousy, hotter than midday sun. She pointed at her followers, her hands shaking. You girls, she said harshly, tell me the truth. Is she more beautiful than I am? The four girls knelt immediately. No, Ifeoma, not at all. You are the light of Iyoma. Your beauty is unmatched. But their shaky voices betrayed their fear, and Ifeoma knew it. Her heart darkened. Listen to me, she said firmly. We have to find her and make her fall into our trap. We can't allow her rise, never. She clenched her fist. I, Ifeoma, refuse. I reject it. I forbid it. She took one deep breath, her voice rising like thunder. Oledo must be taken down. She will not steal my crown. She will not take my shine. She will never stand beside me. I must remain the beauty queen of Iyoma, and you all must ensure it. Jealousy, thick and poisonous, entered Ifeoma's heart from that very day. And from that day, peace left her spirit like wind escaping a broken flute. Sleep refused to stay in her eyes. She tossed from side to side on her bamboo bed. She sat up in the middle of the night and touched her face over and over again, as if to make sure her beauty was still there. Every morning, she stood before her mirror, tilting her head left and right, admiring her own reflection and whispering loudly, "No one can be more beautiful than I am. No one can take my shine. I am the pride of Iyoma. I am the one the people adore." But beneath her voice, fear lay like a restless shadow. The thought of another beauty rising in Iyoma tormented her. It beat her heart. It scratched her pride. It kept her awake. For many nights, she did not sleep until the moon had disappeared behind the hills. One hot afternoon, when the sun was burning like firewood left too close to the flames, Ifeoma decided to go to the river to take her bath. Her four followers came behind her as usual, singing her praises, whispering and wiping sweat from their faces as they struggled to keep up. It was hot in the afternoon, so the river was quiet. Then suddenly, as they got close, Ifeoma stopped. Her eyes narrowed, her heart gave a strange, uncomfortable jump. Because right there, standing near the river's edge with a clay pot balanced carefully on her hip, was Oledo. Her skin glowed under the sun like polished gold. Her hair, though simply packed, carried a softness that made the girls stare. Her wrapper was old, yet somehow it suited her perfectly. Her face shone with a natural beauty that needed no beads, no powder, no fancy hair. Ifeoma's mouth opened slightly. She could not believe what her eyes were seeing. Beauty stood before her. "That is her," Nena whispered behind her. "That is Oledo." At that moment, something snapped inside Ifeoma. A sharp sting of jealousy pierced her heart. Her pride rose like smoke from burning palm leaves. "Move," Ifeoma commanded, marching straight towards Oledo. Her girls hurried behind her, fear tightening their steps. Oledo looked up just in time. She saw Ifeoma approaching, saw the familiar arrogance in her eyes, and slowly placed her clay pot on the ground. She had heard stories about Ifeoma. Everyone had, and she had sworn never to be one of those girls who trembled like frightened chickens whenever Ifeoma appeared. She was not a coward. Ifeoma reached her, lifted her chin proudly and said, "You kneel down." Oledo blinked slowly. "Kneel?" she repeated calmly. "Yes," Ifeoma snapped. "Kneel and greet me properly. Do you not know who I am?" Oledo stood straight. "I know who you are," she said. "You are Ifeoma. But I also know who I am. I kneel only for elders, not for some silly girls who believe the world must bow to them." Ifeoma gasped. Her followers gasped. "What did you just say to me?" Ifeoma hissed, taking a step closer. Oledo did not move back. "I said I will not kneel for you," she answered firmly. "I did not offend you, and you do not own this kingdom. I came to fetch water like every other maiden. Leave me alone." You dare to talk to me like that?" Ifeoma's voice rose. "You think because people whisper about your stupid beauty, you can insult me? You think you can stand beside me in this kingdom?" Oledo folded her arms. "If beauty is making you act like this, then maybe you are not as beautiful as you think." The words stabbed Ifeoma deeply. Her pride burst like a calabash thrown against a rock. "You stupid girl," Ifeoma shouted. "Do you think you can compete with me? Do you think you can take what is mine?" Oledo shook her head. "I am not competing with anybody. The sun shines for everyone. It is you who believes the sky belongs to only you." The insult was too much. Ifeoma lunged forward, grabbed Oledo by the arm, and pushed her hard into the river. Oledo stumbled backward. Her foot slipped on a smooth stone near the river bank. Before anyone could scream, her body toppled into the deep water with a loud splash. Her clay pot flew into the air and shattered on the rocks. The river swallowed her. Silence followed. Then, Ifeoma's clique screamed, "Ah, Ifeoma, what have you done? We did not plan this. She fell too deep." A few bubbles rose to the surface. A piece of wrapper floated, then nothing. Oledo did not rise again. The river grew still. Ifeoma turned sharply to her girls. Her breath came quickly. Her eyes were wild with fear and pride tangled together. "Listen, if anyone talks, she said in a cold, shaking voice, "you will join her inside that river. We must pretend nothing happened here." Her clique froze. Their hearts dropped like heavy stones because they knew Ifeoma meant every word. That night in Iyoma felt wrong from the very beginning. Oledo's mother sat outside their old huts, waiting for her daughter to return from the stream. Darkness fell. Lanterns lit up the village. The goats returned home, but Oledo did not. Her mother's heart tightened. Her father grabbed his lamb and hurried towards the river. "Oledo, Oledo, my child, they called. Their cries spread through the village like fire. Soon, neighbors joined the search. Mothers tied wrappers around their chest, men carried sticks and lamps. Young girls whispered fearfully as they followed the path. Oledo was loved. Nobody believed she could just vanish like that. Near the river, her mother broke down in tears, rolling on the ground. My daughter, gods of the land, please help me. Help me find my daughter. Villagers shook their heads. This is strange. She only went to fetch water. What must have happened? They searched every corner of Iyoma, the bushes, the forest path, the banks of the river, but Oledo was nowhere. Fear settled upon the land like heavy harmattan dust. Inside Chief Obika's compound, Ifeoma sat stiffly on a wooden bench. Her followers huddled around her, shaking. Every cry of Oledo from outside stabbed them like spear tips. Ifunanya whispered, Ifeoma, they cannot find her. Ifeoma jumped to her feet, her voice sharp and trembling. Listen well, she said, pointing a warning finger at them. If anybody talks, you will join her inside that river. The girls nodded quickly, terrified. Slowly, 1 year passed. Yet, the wound of Oledo's disappearance never fully healed. Her parents grew old with grief. Her mother often sat outside their hut, her eyes lost in memories, as she cried out to the gods, if anyone has a hand in the death of my daughter, may the spirits fight them. May the spirits fight them. The villagers always heard her cry every day. Her father became quieter, walking with a sadness that never left his shoulders. The villagers still murmured about the girl who went to fetch water and never returned, but only in soft, low voices, as though the land itself forbade them from speaking too loudly. Her name became a whisper, a memory soaked in tears. But Ifeoma, she continued to reign. Her beauty only grew finer with age, her arrogance only grew sharper, her pride only grew stronger. She walked through Iyoma like a queen without a crown, and yet everyone behaved as though she wore one. Maidens still knelt out of fear whenever she passed. Mothers dragged their daughters aside to avoid her trouble. No one dared offend her. To Ifeoma, Oledo was gone and forgotten, and she still stood tall like ever. As the years folded into one another, the kingdom began its preparation for the great Iyoma Dance Festival, a festival held once in many years, a celebration of beauty, music, and the cultural heartbeat of the land. The marketplace buzzed with excitement. Drummers practiced under mango trees, women dyed wrappers in shades of bright red and deep gold. The elders polished their ceremonial staffs. Young girls whispered excitedly, hoping to be chosen as dancers. Everyone was preparing, and so was Ifeoma. She stood in front of her mirror, adjusting her beads and smiling proudly at her reflection. This festival is mine, she said confidently. No maiden can match my shine. I will win again. I will always win. Her loyal subjects nodded immediately. Yes, Ifeoma, you are the jewel of Iyoma. Everyone knows that. Your beauty blinds us all. No one can compete. Her father, Chief Obika, walked in with a broad smile. My jewel, he said proudly, touching her cheek. You will win again this year. You always do. You carry the pride of our family and the beauty of our land. Ifeoma lifted her chin. I know, Papa. No one can challenge me. She had every reason to believe it. No maiden in Iyoma dared to stand beside her. Nobody wanted trouble. Nobody wanted to be humiliated. Nobody wanted to become Ifeoma's enemy. So when the maidens of the kingdom whispered amongst themselves about the festival, their voices trembled. Abego, let Ifeoma win again. I don't want her wahala. I cannot stand on that stage with her. My mother said I should not even try. Fear had replaced competition, fear had replaced excitement, and only a few were willing to participate. But then, a new whisper began to slip through the kingdom like a gentle breeze, a rumor, a small one at first. Some said a stranger had arrived in Iyoma. Some said she was breathtaking. Some said she was blessed with a beauty the land had never seen. The long-awaited day finally arrived. The sun rose gently above the palm trees, stretching its golden fingers across Iyoma Kingdom. From every corner of the land, people poured into the village square, wearing their brightest wrappers and their happiest smiles. Drummers warmed their palms, dancers stretched their legs. Mothers bought roasted corn, children ran around with dust flying under their feet. Everyone was excited, everyone was ready. The great Iyoma Dance Festival had begun. But nobody was more ready than Ifeoma. She stepped out of her father's compound, dressed like a queen the gods themselves adorned. Her wrapper shimmered like midnight water under moonlight. Her beats rattled loudly with each graceful step. Her skin glowed, her smile sparkled. Her hair flowed neatly down her back. Her four mates walked before her, chanting her praises. The beauty of Iyoma is coming. Move aside. The jewel of the kingdom arrives. Her beauty blinds the sun. Oh, her waist commands the drum. People paused on the roadside to stare. Some bowed, some whispered. Some eyes widened in admiration. Even those who disliked her could not deny it. Ifeoma looked like she owned the day. And when she arrived at the village square, the crowd roared. The dancers were gathered, the judges sat proudly, the drummers lifted their drums high and sent thunder rolling across the land. The competition began. One maiden after another danced beautifully. Some danced gracefully, some danced with energy, some stumbled a little, but were still cheered on by their mothers. Then, it was Ifeoma's turn. The crowd went silent. The drummers leaned forward, the dust settled on the ground as if waiting. Ifeoma stepped into the center with a confidence that shook the earth. She lifted her chin and raised her hands. The drummers struck their drum. The rhythm filled the air like heartbeats. Ifeoma moved. She danced with a pride that commanded attention. Her waist rolled like river waves. Her steps tapped the ground with authority. Her shoulders swayed with beauty. Her beats rattled like talking spirits. The crowd cheered loudly. Ifeoma, pride of Iyoma, queen of beauty. No one can match her. She danced as though the earth was created for her feet alone. She danced, expecting a crown, expecting the world to bow again. When she finally stopped, the entire square erupted in applause. Even her enemies clapped because beauty cannot be denied. But then, something strange happened. A gentle wind blew into the square. The drums paused on their own. The leaves on the trees stopped moving. The birds became quiet. Even the fire from the cooking pots flickered gently as if greeting someone greater. Then a voice rose. A voice so sweet, so melodious, so powerful that even the wind bowed to listen. It floated into the square like perfume carried on the breeze. The crowd turned sharply, mouths fell open, eyes widened. From the edge of the square, a maiden walked slowly towards the center. Her name was Omalugo. She glowed. Every step she took shone like light touching water. Her wrapper fluttered without the wind. Her hair sparkled like strands of gold. Her eyes carried the softness of moonlight. The villagers stood frozen. It is her. It is a stranger. This beauty is not from this world. She looks like something the gods carved themselves specially. Omalugo stopped in the middle of the square and lifted her head. The entire crowd held its breath. Then she began to sing, softly at first, then stronger like a spirit announcing her arrival.
Hey, For beauty is truth and truth is near. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Every river remembers sorrow. Every wave keeps secrets deep. I walk with the strength of ancient mothers. I guard the cries the world could not keep. Those who mock grace will learn in time that beauty punishes hidden crime. Bow your heads, the waters speak. Justice flows where the gentle are weak. Oh, Malugo rises, her glory revealed. No pride can stand where the spirits are sealed. Let the land behold my light. Let truth rise and scatter the night.
Her voice wrapped around the village like warm water. People closed their eyes just to feel it. Some even placed their hands on their chest. Then she began to dance. Her dance was not human. It was smooth, like flowing water, soft like fresh breeze, mesmerizing like fireflies at night. Her arms moved as if she was shaping air. Her feet floated as though she walked on music. Her glow grew brighter with every step. Women gasped. Men forgot to breathe. Children clapped without meaning to. The villagers no longer remembered Ifoma's name. They whispered in awe, "This is beauty. This is true beauty." Even the elders shook their heads slowly, saying, "We have never seen anything like this." Ifoma stood at the edge of the crowd, frozen. For the first time in her life, she was invincible. Nobody looked at her. Nobody praised her. Nobody clapped for her. Nobody cared. All eyes followed Omalugo. All admiration belonged to Omalugo. All beauty shone from Omalugo. Humiliation stabbed Ifoma's heart. Her pride fell to the ground and shattered. Unable to bear it, she turned around sharply and ran away from the square, covering her face as the cheers of the crowd rose behind her. Cheers for someone who had stolen her spotlight in one heartbeat. The day she feared had finally come. Someone had outshined her. Ifoma stood under the udara tree, pacing back and forth like a lion whose prey had escaped. Her wrapper swung wildly with each furious step. "How?" she muttered. "How did this escape my eyes? How did I let someone outshine me? How did this happen?" She dug her fingers into her hair and screamed loudly, "Ah!" Her fellow subjects rushed in, panting, confused and frightened. "Ifoma, please, you need to calm down," Nena pleaded softly. The slap came before she finished speaking. The sound echoed through the quiet afternoon. "You fools," Ifoma thundered. "You could not see this coming. You could not warn me. You let a foreign buffalo, only the God knows where she crawled out from, embarrass me in front of the entire kingdom." Her chest heaved. Her eyes blazed. She pointed at them, shaking with rage. "All you had to do was to tell me who was trying to outshine me. That is all. We would have dealt with her. We would have crushed her spirit, but no, you girls are useless. Good for nothing, bunch of idiots, animals." Her voice rose higher, sharper, wilder, as though madness had climbed into her bones. Then, something unexpected happened. Chisom stepped forward, her jaw tightened. Her hands trembled, but she did not bow her head. "Enough, Ifoma. I will not stand here and let you insult me anymore," she said boldly. "I have endured enough from you. For years we followed you around like lost goats. We swallowed your insult, hid your wickedness. We even carried the burden of your secrets. And what did we get in return? Nothing. You treat us like dirt. Ifeoma's eyes widened with disbelief. Chisom continued, her voice rising. You think you are the only beautiful girl on earth? You think you can outshine everyone? You must be sick. I am tired. Tired of your pride, your wickedness. I am done with you. Then I stepped back. Ifunanya and Uzamaka exchanged glances, then joined in. Yes, Ifeoma. We cannot continue like this. We have a life too. We are no fools. Ifeoma stretched her hand towards them as though pulling back something that was slipping away. Her voice cracked with panic. No, come back here. Do not walk away from me. You cannot leave. I am your leader. But it was too late. The girls turned around slowly. They looked at her with pity and disappointment, then burst into mocking laughter. Goodbye, Ifeoma. Enjoy your throne alone, since you do not need anyone. And they walked away without looking back. Ifeoma stood frozen under the udara tree, breathless, trembling, watching the shadows of the girls she once controlled disappear into the distance. For the first time in her life, she stood alone. That night, sleep refused to enter her eyes. She tossed, turned, sat up, paced her room like a restless spirit. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the humiliating scene at the square. The cheers, the song, Omalugo's glowing presence, the way the entire kingdom forgot her. She grabbed her mirror angrily, glared into it. How did she disgrace me, she hissed. How did she steal my shine? Who does she think she is? But the mirror did not answer. It only stared back at her with the same face that had begun to tremble under the weight of jealousy. Before dawn touched the sky, Ifeoma made up her mind. She must find Omalugo. She must confront her. She must reclaim her crown. She heard the whispers that Omalugo visited the river often, so early the next morning, wrapped in anger like a cloth, Ifeoma stormed towards the river bank. The air was still, the water glimmered, mist danced above the surface. And there, standing alone with her feet in the clear water, was Omalugo. Her beauty glowed softly, untouched by the rising sun. Her hair flowed in gentle waves. She looked peaceful, calm, almost heavenly. The peacefulness angered Ifeoma even more. Omalugo, she shouted, marching forward. Omalugo turned slowly. Her eyes were calm. Her lips carried a small knowing smile. You again, she said softly. Ifeoma scoffed loudly. How dare you embarrass me? Who do you think you are? You think you can steal my shine in my own kingdom? Omalugo remained silent, simply watching her. Ifeoma stepped closer, her voice rising. I am the beauty of Iyoma, the pride of this land. No one challenges me. Not you, not anybody. And yet, Omalugo replied gently, yesterday proved otherwise. Ifeoma's chest rose sharply. How dare you talk to me like that? You are nothing but a stranger. Omalugo tilted her head slightly. And you are nothing but a proud heart hiding behind borrowed beauty. Ifeoma froze. What did you say to me? She demanded. I said, Omalugo continued calmly, that you have misused what you were given. Beauty is supposed to bring light. You used yours to bring darkness. Beauty is supposed to lift others. You used yours to trample them. Ifeoma's eyes widened in shock. Omalugo stepped forward, her voice suddenly stronger. You have insulted others, humiliated them, stepped on their dignity. You have used your beauty to destroy, not to bless. Ifeoma clenched her fist. You know nothing about me. Oh, I know enough. More than you even know, Omalugo replied. For years, this river has cried the tears of the maidens you oppressed. Ifeoma swallowed hard. What do you mean? Omalugo's expression darkened. And I know about the maiden you pushed into this very water. Silence fell like a dropped stone. Ifeoma staggered backward. Her lips trembled. Her heart thudded wildly. How do you know about that? She whispered. Omalugo's eyes softened with sorrow that was not human. The river saw it. The spirits saw it. The land saw it. Ifeoma panicked inside. Shut up! You do not know anything. You cannot prove anything. Omalugo stepped closer. I do not need to. The river has already spoken. Her death will not go unavenged. Fear surged through Ifeoma's vein, but pride forced her mouth open. You think you can threaten me? Do you want trouble? I will deal with you myself. She lifted her hand to push Omalugo into the river, but her hand stopped in the air, frozen, trapped by an invincible force. Ifeoma gasped and tried to pull it back, but her hand could not move. Omalugo turned sharply. Her eyes changed. They glowed with a strange shimmering light, like moonlight trapped in deep water. The river behind her began to ripple. The wind paused. The trees bowed slightly. Even the birds stopped singing. Ifeoma's breath caught in her throat. What are you doing? She whispered. Omalugo stepped forward, her voice echoing with power. I am not who you think I am. I am Omalugo, daughter of the river, a princess of the water spirits. I came because the tears of the innocent reached the throne of the spirits. Ifeoma's sneeze weakened. No, please, no. You used your beauty to harm others, Omalugo continued. You used your pride to crush their joy. You destroyed their life, and the spirit will not remain silent. I came to teach you a bitter lesson, a lesson you will never forget. The river stirred, rising as if greeting its princess. Mist curled around Omalugo's feet. And Ifeoma, for the first time in her life, felt deep fear, a fear deeper than anything she had ever known. The very moment Omalugo finished speaking, the air around the river turned cold. Omalugo lifted one finger, just one. A soft glow spread from her head and wrapped itself around Ifeoma like invincible smoke. Ifeoma gasped and stepped back, but the power held her in place. Then it began. Her skin, once smooth like polished clay, started to dull before her eyes. Her glowing complexion faded into a lifeless shade. Her long flowing hair shrank, losing its shine. The radiance she carried everywhere vanished like smoke blown away by the wind. Her face twisted into something she could never recognize. She touched her cheeks and screamed, No, no, this cannot be happening. Her voice echoed across the quiet riverbank. Just then, two women arrived with their calabashes to fetch water. When they saw Ifeoma, they let out a sharp scream, dropped their buckets and ran as though they had seen a spirit from the underworld. The beauty of Ijeoma had become a stranger. Omalugo stepped closer, her voice calm and final. Beauty is a gift, not a weapon, she said. Because you misused it and an innocent blood was shed, your beauty shall never return. The river roared softly, as if agreeing with its princess, and Omalugo vanished. Ifeoma fell to her knees, shaking, sobbing, holding her face with trembling hands. Her cries filled the air, but the judgment had already been sealed. The terror of Ijeoma was gone. Only a humbled maiden remained. Ifeoma ran home, weeping as though fire chased her. Her wrapper was soaked with tears, her legs trembled beneath her. When she stepped into her father's compound, Chief Obika rushed out. One look at her face, and the strong man collapsed to the ground. No, no, he cried, holding his head. Who are you? Where is my daughter? But when Ifeoma spoke, her voice cracked with pain. Papa, it is me. The villagers who saw her running towards Chief Obika's compound and heard the cry gathered in front of the compound. They stared at the ugly, trembling creature kneeling in front of them, unable to recognize the beauty of Ijeoma. Whispers filled everywhere. Who is she? What happened? Why is she crying? But when her sobs grew louder, someone whispered, that voice, it sounds like Ifeoma. Murmurs spread. Gaps followed. Mothers covered their mouths. Then, shaking like a leaf, Ifeoma confessed. She told them everything, how she pushed Oledo into the river, how the girl drowned, how Omalugo punished her, how her beauty melted away forever. The villagers stared at her, shocked and speechless. But the shock did not last long. Anger soon rose like fire. You killed that innocent girl. You brought sorrow to her parents. You are wicked. You are a wicked child. You have no place in Iyoma. Sticks were raised. Canes were lifted. And before Chief Obika could stop them, the villagers descended on Ifeoma. They beat her, dragged her, called her names. Then, as it was done to murderers, they pushed her out of the village like someone carrying a curse. Leave! Do not return. May the gods judge you. Ifeoma fled, bruised, broken, weeping, ugly and alone. She journeyed far until she reached a distant kingdom where no one knew her story. That was where her new life began. The once proud maiden now fetched her own water, carrying her pot quietly on her head. She bent to pick firewood with trembling hands. She greeted everyone gently, including children. She apologized for any little mistake. She walked with lowered eyes and a humbled heart. But she looked so ugly that people laughed at her on the road. Some mocked her, some pointed and shook their heads. This woman must have offended the gods in her previous life to look this ugly, they whispered. No one would ever believe Ifeoma was once a beauty queen. She looked like the shadow of suffering. Children even made a song for her, clapping their hands as she passed. Every word pierced her heart, but she said nothing. Now, she knew how others felt when she bullied and treated them harshly. Though, Ifeoma learned kindness the hard way. Though her heart softened, though she treated people with gentle hands now, she remained ugly. Her life remained lonely, her nights remained cold. And for the rest of her life, Ifeoma never failed to tell her story to young maidens. She really learned the hard way. For beauty lost by wickedness never returns, and those who use pride to climb will one day fall with no one to catch them. Beauty without kindness is ugliness. Hey besties, we've come to the end of this amazing story and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it. I would love you to share your thoughts in the comments section. And if you enjoy our stories but you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please do not skip this video without hitting on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you get notified whenever we post new stories. Thank you so much for all your love and support. They mean so much to me. Right now, I'll have to go and see you in our next story. Bye!